I really feel personally that we should not dim our light for anyone. We are not here to dim our lights. We're here to shine, and we're here to encourage each other to shine. And so Spirit tells me that often, to just maintain my own alignment and vibration, to keep soaring, to keep shining, because I will give hope to others who dare to do the same. And that some, when that's happening, can feel very threatened, especially those close to you. Like if you have family members that they see you evolving, but they aren't evolving, they're not going with that expansion and that shift, it can feel very threatening to them, and their own fears that they have about that expansion, they will try to project upon you. So be mindful that you don't take others' fears personally, and really learn to discern that. Like, is this a fear that I'm feeling internally? Is this like a true warning in my intuition kind of guiding me? Or is this someone projecting their fear and their worry on me in an attempt to control me or to stifle my growth? It's kind of like throwing a lasso over the horse and pulling them down. And we do it, and then we say it's because we love each other. And we have so much room for expansion in our awareness of what love is. I have not met very many humans that understand what love is. And I feel like we have a lot of room to improve on that. The way Source shows me, love it's an unconditional energy, and it is without attachment. We don't need to latch on to people and be codependently attached to them. An example of that is, many of us have been taught to be a good mother or a good wife or a good friend means we need to be taking responsibility for everybody's stuff. And if they've got something going on, we need to go rescue them. Or, oh, how could you let that happen to your child? Like, you're their mother. You should have done something. And I say this kind of joking, but it's no joking matter. I mean, this is an energy issue on the planet that's caused a lot of suffering and is continuing to. And it's really important that we understand that all spiritual beings are free. And if we understand we're free, then all spiritual beings are free. No one belongs to us. We don't belong to anyone. Even our most beloved is a gift, and we will choose to align with our beloved and join our energies, or we will choose to separate and move in different directions if that connection no longer serves us. And so really, like, if you're looking at your child as something you own, like a possession, that's my child, my daughter, that's my man, if we're looking at things in that way, that's right there is your first step of misalignment that will continue to cause disruption in your life. So if we can really love others without attachment, and we can honor them, honor their boundaries, honor their journey, allow them to flow in whatever ways. It may be for some that they are on a path that feels really negative to us and that we are concerned for them, but we can send them love and energy from a distance as they find their way. We don't need to go in there and try to control and make them go in a certain direction. And some souls really need to get their butts kicked to learn. It's just, we've all had our own way that we come to a place of understanding. And for some of us, we, if we're very stubborn, we really have to go the rough route to learn the lesson. And for others, someone could just share wisdom, and they're open enough and intuitive enough to thank them and say, thank you for that wisdom. That saved me a butt kicking. So I'm appreciative. But basically, we all have these opportunities to just clear that ego and clear that sense of superiority or inferiority within us. And as we do that, we will no longer look at each other in that way. We won't look at each other through those eyes. I feel the way I see the world, I look out of these eyes of such love and reverence for all life, the animals, the plants, the people. It's all beautiful and important. And there's just a reverence there. And I feel I look for the highest good in all souls. I truly want the best for them. And as a teacher and a healer, as a mother, a wife, a friend, I set my intention to always honor that and to shine the light and help challenge those who Spirit leads into my life to understand that alignment and to really live with that freedom. However, if you're freshly coming into this place, you may not always be supported by the people that have been around you. If you've been around a lot of lower vibrational beings and you're awakening, chances are when you first start setting your healthy boundaries and you start taking a stand and you're clearing ego and you're coming from a place of confidence and connection with Source, you may not always be supported. And so it's important that you know your connection with Source, that you do meditate and connect daily and remember who you are, because often those humans, they're going to be in fear because something's changing and they don't like that change. They're threatened by that change. They are comfortable with ego. They're comfortable with victimization or someone dominating them and telling them what to do. And you giving them choices and freedom and space can feel really foreign to them. And so I think it's kind of a place where we can offer our compassion and our patience as this is shifting and these energies are expanding. And it's really important that we honor our own alignment and our own boundaries as that happens and not cater and enable. And so,
Tonya.
Yes. Sorry, you scared me. Go ahead. I was like, is that you, Source?
There is a long statement here. I'll try to read it without coughing.
Okay, you're fine.
Eileen is saying, I was lashed out at it a couple of weeks ago when they felt I was not on their side. Instead of internalizing or believing the lies or negative thinking projected onto me, I chose to release, stand up for myself, and say no. I realized it was not me, but them who was struggling with their own issues. And then I took the time to heal and process the toxicity and practiced just letting it all go. And now I am choosing to love myself, to love and forgive them, and to send healing to all involved, knowing that in time all will be healed.
Yes. That's beautiful, Eileen. And that is such a beautiful way that you handled that. That's alignment right there, is that you understand that this energy that's happening is not about you, but that you are threatening and scaring those that feel that they knew you because you're evolving and maybe they're not ready to. But if we don't take that personal, and then we can send them love from a distance, and the toxic part you talked about, being clearing that toxic energy is so important. We could do a whole show on that, actually. But basically, when we're very empathic and we're around low vibrational beings that are psychically attacking us, an empath feels that as if they're being stabbed in their solar plexus and their heart chakra. I know for myself, if I've had someone screaming at me or lashing out, not only is the emotional part, upsetting, but in my energy, in my physical body, I feel like stabbing in my solar plexus and my heart chakra, and it's really painful. So I feel that the clearing and getting away from that energy is so vital, and it's something that we must address, because if we stay, I make a reference kind of like with a plant. So if we can imagine we have a plant in our garden, and every day someone's pouring chemicals on that plant and they're poisoning that plant, and it's like withering, and then through the end of the day it's like, oh, okay, finally the toxic energy's gone, I think I can be okay, and it starts to kind of try to grow again, but then there's more toxic chemicals poured on the plant. it's going to be really hard for that plant to thrive in that environment because every day something's trying to kill the plant. So when you look at yourself and you look at your own life, look at the environments that you've co-created with Source. Like, look at what environment you're sitting in right now and ask yourself, why are you? If it's a loving environment, awesome. But if it's toxic and you feel sick just going there, you feel uncomfortable and tense being around those beings or in that environment, ask yourself why you feel you're not enough to clear out of there. Because when it comes down to it, it is your question, it is your journey. And when you understand that you're worth something and you're valuable, you will scoop that plant of your life up and you'll go plant it in fertile soil. And you'll make sure that any energies you invite in will be energies that support and nurture your soul and nurture your spirit so that you can grow and thrive. And I feel that, like, truly we could do a whole show on that because it's so important that we are not attaching to role and title. We're not attaching to environments, to people. As she stated, Eileen stated that these were people close to her and they turned on her because she didn't agree with something that they were about. And that's what a lot of controllers do. A controller energy wants to cause you to feel insecure and afraid so that you will do what they say and submit. And they're doing that because they are out of control. They're out of control. They are completely operating from fear. And we need to stop following them. Anyone in that energy is not an alpha leader. An alpha leader would never project control and push their way. They will encourage a direction and they will join you in a direction. They will assist you in understanding. They will not try to lash out at you to make you submit. And so it's really important that we pay attention to that. And I feel that the only ways controller energies can even exist is when we have an enabler. And so whenever you can look at relationships that are very toxic. You can look at families that are toxic, work environments. Pay attention. If there's a controller, there's an enabler, or maybe many enablers. And in order to get rid of that controller energy, the enablers have to wake up. It's kind of like the whole Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. If you have the alcoholic that has the issue and they're, aggressive, lashing out, and they're creating all this chaos from their drinking problem, then you have the enablers who buy their alcohol or who just, protect them and tell everyone, no, don't get mad. He's just, upset today. They protect, or she is. It's not a he, she thing. It's anyone. But basically, we need to be mindful that we are not being an enabler of misalignment. So anything in your life, if you feel you're being controlled, lashed out at, why are you tolerating that? That is your question. Because if we're to evolve and shift anything, whether it's our work environments, our relationships, the planet, we have to start challenging the misalignment. And challenge doesn't feel good to those that are out of alignment. It doesn't feel good to the ones sleeping. It feels really scary, but it doesn't matter. Our light is here to shine for a reason. We're here to move in a new direction, and we need to shine that light brightly and confidently without apology, but with compassion and with love and gentleness, and be patient as well. I think don't get too in a rush for everything to evolve. Evolution takes time. It's a process. And so we need to be patient as this is all happening for everybody. But we are not meant to enable any longer. So if you're a mother and your child's throwing a tantrum at the grocery store tomorrow and wanting that candy, what would an aligned mother do? For me, my perspective, she would not give them what they want in that energy, because in that energy, you are basically going to raise baby controllers. One day, you just helped birth a new controller because you enabled that. You enabled their misalignment. They're throwing tantrums and fits and trying to dominate the energy, and then you give them a reward for it. So we need to really pay attention to every level of that. If we have a a spouse that's throwing a fit and trying to control us into a direction, and we don't feel that's in alignment, our intuition tells us to go in another direction, we need to start honoring that rather than, cater to that one that's out of alignment and try to make that person